Hello, I hope you can hear me. I'm just going to get everything set up, make sure that everybody can actually hear and see okay. So if you are on Google, if you could just type a message into the chat box, or if you're on Facebook, I've got that set up as well. And so please do type a message in there just to say, yes, you can hear me, or no, you can't, which hopefully won't be the case. So is there anybody out there in the world, anybody who's listening, anybody who's managed to actually log on and get to this webinar? Nice to have some feedback because I'm feeling very lonely here on my own. Not hearing anything, so I don't know whether anybody can actually hear me or not, or whether anyone's actually managed to log on or not yet. Let's find out. So while we wait and see whether we've actually got anything, I'm going to take you through some techniques today, which will give you some self-hypnosis techniques that you can actually use yourself, because I think that the more you can do yourself, the easier it is for you, really. Let's just type a message in here. Right, so we've got some confirmation from Facebook. Thank you very much. Let's see whether we've got anything from Google as well, from the Hangouts. We'll just give it a few more minutes and then I'll actually make a start. If you are waiting, I did put a message on. I don't know whether you've actually seen it at all, but if you, as we go through, a glass of water might help for one of the techniques. Just a glass of sort of fairly warm water, just room temperature water. And if you've got a pen and paper, or if you can type on a keyboard, you don't need to take notes as we go along, because I'll send you some information at the end and you will be able to see a replay of this webinar. But one of the techniques might just help if you can actually jot down a couple of notes for yourself. So if you haven't got them, don't worry, but if you have, it might just help. Right, so again, I'll just wait a few more minutes just to see if there's anyone else that joins us. There's a couple of people here. I know sometimes it can take a lot longer to actually get into these things than you think it's going to. It almost just seems to take ages to set up. So let's make a start then. Like I said, the webinar, if you do come in later, obviously you won't hear this, but if anyone does come in later, the webinar replay will be available as well for a short time. So I'm Sharon Stiles. Some of you may already know me. It's good to have you with me today. This is the first time I've done this painless webinar. So some feedback would be really helpful because then I'll probably do another slightly longer version that will then be available online as well. Now, in this webinar, I'm going to help you understand more about how your mind experiences and processes pain. And I'm also going to teach you some techniques to help you reduce the impact that pain has on your life. Now, on a personal level, you are all much more expert than me in living with pain. I've been quite fortunate that pain hasn't been a big part of my life. But I have seen the difference that all these techniques have made to my clients and to other people's clients as well. And so I hope that these will add to your own expertise in a positive way, and you'll be able to use them in your everyday life. As I said earlier, you don't need to take notes because there will be some information on the web page that you can download, and there'll also be some additional audio downloads that you can listen to as well, and they will cover everything I take you through today. Now, everyone responds differently to pain, so that's why I'm covering several techniques, because I found that people often prefer one technique over another, or they find one more effective in a specific situation. So it's always worth just giving each one a try to work out which one is the best for you. Now, I always aim to make everything as clear as possible, but if you do have any questions, then there will be time to ask them at the end of each technique. If you're on Facebook, then please do send me a Facebook message. I've got that open. And you can also, should be able to send me a message through Google as well on the chat application on this. I won't be looking at them as we go through, but I'll take a quick look at the end of each technique just to see if there's anything that you want to know further. Now, one thing that I do want to highlight right at the beginning is that you shouldn't use any of these techniques to reduce pain that's there to alert you to an injury or illness that might need your attention. So if you get a new type of pain or you get new symptoms, then do consult your doctor, because you don't want to mask any warning signs of ill health. Pain is there for a reason a lot of the time, so listen to it and then take the appropriate action. So if there's a pain that is familiar to you and you know that it's what we call non-productive pain, it's not there for a particular reason, then these techniques are fine for you. But if you are in any doubt at all, please do consult your medical advisor. Now, when you're in pain, most of the focus, both from you and from people around you, is on the physical aspect of it. But your mind also plays a very important part. And you might not have thought about using hypnosis to reduce your pain before, because a lot of people think about hypnosis as either dealing with emotional issues like stress or habits like stopping smoking. But once you realise that your mind plays an important part in how you feel physically, then you can start to recognise how it can help with reducing pain. Now, on a simple level, I'm sure you've noticed that if you're in a positive mood and the sun's shining and everything's going well, then your pain tends to be less intrusive. But if you feel down and life's a struggle and nothing seems to be working properly, then your pain probably seems much worse. And then the fact that it is worse then also means that you feel worse, and so you get into a vicious circle. Now, there is a real tendency in a lot of circles to think about health as either mental or physical, but they are intrinsically linked. So each one affects the other. And so your state of mind has an effect on your physical state, and your physical state has an effect on your mental state. Now, of course, being positive all the time can be really hard work. And often it becomes what I call wishful thinking, rather than a true positive belief. And that just gets even more frustrating and even more tiring. So I'm going to start off with something which I teach to virtually all my clients, because it is a really adaptable technique and it involves reality thinking, not wishful thinking. It uses acupressure and self-hypnosis. Now, acupressure uses similar principles to acupuncture, so it might be kind of familiar to you if you've used acupuncture in the past. Acupressure stimulates certain points in the body which can help to reduce unwanted emotions and pain. You're not going to be sticking needles in yourself, but you're just going to be gently rubbing on the points that I show you. And don't worry about remembering it all, because you can download a reference sheet and also an audio download of it as well at the end of this webinar. So what I'd like you to do is to start off just by rubbing on your chest, just on the top of your rib, the very top rib. Just rub very gently, don't dig in too hard. All of this is very gentle. And as you rub on that point, I'd like you to think about something that to you means comfortable and relaxed. Now, it might be a place that you find relaxing. It might be just that feeling you get when everything does feel okay, everything does feel comfortable, there's nothing to bother about. It might be a place from the past, it might be something you're quite familiar with now, it might be like a special holiday, it could be just lying in the bath or lying in bed, lying in the sun. Maybe it's with a family or with a pet. It's just something to you means comfortable and relaxed. And as you do that, does one side feel different to the other in any way? So sometimes one side of these points might feel hotter, it might feel bonier, it might feel more sensitive. If it does, keep rubbing on those 2 points until they start to feel the same. Now, if they already feel the same, then that's fine. You can just stop rubbing. Sometimes they're absolutely fine right from the very beginning. Sometimes it just takes a little while until they do get the same. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of patience just to get them feeling the same. Now I'm just going to take a guess now that the points you're rubbing do feel the same. If they don't, then just carry on rubbing while I explain the next part. And I'd like you now just to think about any discomfort you feel at the moment. So is there any discomfort in your body anywhere? And where is it the strongest? If you had to put it on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is completely comfortable and 10 is the most uncomfortable, where would you put that feeling? And just remember that number. Now, if you're not in any discomfort at the moment, you can still do this technique. Think instead of any uncomfortable emotions that you've got. Are you anxious or worried about something? Is there something you're not looking forward to? Is something niggling away at you? And be quite specific about the thing that's concerning you. Don't think my whole life's a complete mess or my whole body aches. Focus on just one part of the mess or one part of the ache, the part that feels the most important, that's the strongest. Now, I hope you've all got something, and I hope you've actually scaled it on that 0 to 10 scale. Just remember that number. And now, just go up to your eyebrows. Just rub very gently on the eyebrow, just where it meets the edge of the nose. Just rub very gently and take a comfortable breath as you think about the discomfort, either the discomfort in your body or the emotional discomfort that you've got. Then come down to the side of your eye, just on the crease on the edge, just where it's on the edge of the eye socket. And again, just rub very gently and take a comfortable breath. Then come round, follow the eye socket round underneath your eye, just directly underneath the pupil, and just rub very gently. And think about how you feel right now. Think about that discomfort. Then you come down to underneath the nose, just rubbing gently underneath the nose, and also on your chin, just either side of your lips, just rubbing very gently, and take another comfortable breath. And when you're doing this, you don't need to dig in too hard. It's hardly touching skin at all. I don't want you to end up with bruises all over. Come down to the little dip on your throat where you've not tied, just in that little U shape there. Just rubbing gently, take a comfortable breath, and just think about how you feel right now. Think about that discomfort. Now, if there's any change in it at all, just go with whatever it changes into. So just stay with it. Now we're going to come to underneath the arms. I'm just going to sit up a little bit here. And it's on the side of the body, just underneath the arm. So if you put your hand with the thumb underneath your armpit and you just move it down there, it'll be about where your little finger is. So it's about a hand's width down. If you're a female, it's probably in the middle of your bra strap, and it's also in line with the nipple as well. So just rub very gently. Take a nice, comfortable breath. Where you think about that discomfort you feel. Focus on that. And then you come to the other side, exactly the same on the side there, just rubbing gently. Take a breath. Now you come down to the fingers. So if I can get the thumb in here. So if you've got, not very good at this bit, just rub very gently either side of the base of the nail. So that's where the actual acupressure point is. So just rub very gently and take another comfortable breath and focus on how you feel right now. And then you're going to do that on each finger on that hand. So go on to the index finger, take a breath and focus on how you feel. And the next finger, take a breath, focus on how you feel. And the next finger, take a breath, focus on how you feel. And the little finger, take a breath and focus on how you feel. Then go over onto the other hand, exactly the same, starting at the thumb. Take a breath and focus on how you feel. And then the index finger, take a breath and focus on how you feel. Middle finger, take a breath, focus on how you feel. Ring finger, take a breath and focus on how you feel. And the little finger, take a breath and focus on how you feel. And then you go up to the middle of your forehead. You just rub very gently in the middle of your forehead and take 3 comfortable breaths and count each breath. And this is actually kind of combining your conscious and subconscious mind together, if you like, when you're doing this. And when you get to 3, you can stop rubbing. Now, depending on how deep the breaths you are, the breaths you take are, this will take you slightly longer or slightly shorter. But when you get to the end of rubbing on your forehead 3 times, I like you just to look up at your ceiling and just think about how you feel right now. Forget about how you felt before, forget about how you think you're going to feel in a minute. How do you feel right now, at this moment? Does it feel the same as you felt before? Does it feel different in any way? If you could give me some feedback, that would be really helpful, actually. So if anyone is prepared to just type in and tell me how they feel, that would be really great. Let's see whether I've got any responses here. So difficult, things will just disappear when you don't want them to, do they? So anybody prepared to give me any feedback, or are you all going to be quite quiet about this? It might be that things feel just the same at the moment. It might be that there is a little shift in how you feel. It might be that you're not quite sure exactly whether you've got it right, or you just want a little bit of information about, just a little bit of kind of extra information about how to do it. I've got a message coming through. Just wait until this is typed up. Just get some feedback on that, and then we'll go around again and see where we are again. Okay, so there's one person here that said that the pressure points on the chest and under the arms were really painful to rub. Now, whenever you do this, don't rub too hard, but even so, sometimes they can be quite sore. And you'll often find that as you go round, they will start to become less sore as well. Now, often If there is one that does feel uncomfortable, maybe there's one point that feels particularly comfortable, so maybe you're rubbing underneath here, or you might be sort of rubbing, I don't know, on the chin and underneath the nose. If those points do feel particularly sore, you might just want to stay on them a tiny little bit longer, because that tends to be places where maybe you need a little bit of extra work on those. Now, I haven't actually really gone into much detail about how this works. I did say that it's based on acupuncture principles. The idea with acupuncture is that you're actually working on meridian energy in the body. So just like you've got your blood vessels taking blood around your system, you've also got your energy system as well. And if that gets clogged up or gets out of phase, then in acupuncture, you'd stick needles, you might go to shiatsu where they'd work on your body. You might have a reflexologist who will work on points on your feet. With hypnosis and similar techniques like emotional freedom technique, what you do is you actually just use these points that we're using here, which are the start points of the meridian lines in your body. And what you're doing by rubbing or stimulating them is actually just shifting energy around your body. So that's why some points might feel a little bit more uncomfortable than others. Some might actually feel more comfortable than others. So if that's the case, you might want to stay on that a little bit longer. It might feel quite supportive. But always, if there's one that feels slightly different in some way, I'd recommend maybe staying on it for a couple of breaths. And you should find that things start to make a shift quite quickly. So let's go around again then and see how things feel when you come around this time. Now, if things have shifted for you, if the feeling that you started off with is now slightly different, then focus on how you feel right now, because remember, this is about your reality. This is about how you feel. So don't go back to how you felt before, but stay with how you feel right now. And let's go back up to the eyebrows. So just rubbing very gently on the eyebrows. Take a comfortable breath and focus on how you feel. Then come to the side of your eye. Just rubbing gently. Take a comfortable breath and focus on how you feel. Underneath your eye. Take a breath. Focus on how you feel. Underneath your nose and on your chin. Take a breath and focus on how you feel. A little dip on your throat. Just rubbing gently. Take a breath and focus on how you feel. Underneath your arm, just rubbing gently. Take a breath and focus on how you feel. And the other arm as well. Take a breath and focus on how you feel. Now coming down to the fingers, starting on the thumb, rubbing gently. Take a breath and focus on how you feel. And then just go along each finger, rubbing gently. Take a breath and focus on how you feel. And then move on to the next one. So the breath is really a timer. So you just take a breath on each point, focus on how you feel, and then move on to the next one. And then you go over onto the other hand, exactly the same, starting at the start. And then just work your way along each one. Now when you're doing this on your own, when you actually get familiar with where all the points are, you might want to do this with your eyes closed, because sometimes that helps you to focus more. It really doesn't matter, you can do eyes open or eyes closed. And then when you get to the end of the fingers, you just rub very gently just on the forehead and take 3 comfortable breaths. And again, when you've done that, you just stop rubbing and you look up at the ceiling and think, how do I feel right now? And now, hopefully, you will have noticed some improvement, whether it's in physical discomfort or emotional discomfort. If you haven't, then I'd say keep giving it a go, keep trying it and see how it works. If you have tried it and you find it's not working, please do get in touch with me. I might be able to come up with some other ideas as to why that's not working for you, because I do find it works for so many people. If sometimes it might take a little bit longer, it might be that you're focusing on something that's too big, so you want to be maybe a little bit more specific. But that overall sequence is basically all you're doing. And if you find that you get tired doing it, or if you wake up in the night and don't want to move, or you're embarrassed about doing it in public, then actually you can still do the same thing, but you can just imagine rubbing the points rather than actually touching them. So practice doing that. Just imagine what it feels like when you touch that, and then to take it away and just remember what that feeling's like. Because what you think about affects you physically. So by imagining rubbing, it's almost as good as actually physically rubbing as well. Again, I've helped people who've used that in a lot of different situations where they would have felt far too embarrassed to actually do it in public. The reason you look up at the end is because when you look up, you tend to naturally feel more positive. You're using different neural pathways in the brain, and it just helps to push the odds a little bit more in your favour. So looking up just helps to distance yourself from your emotions and helps you to have that more positive mindset. So that technique is called hypnosis. And remember, you can do it for emotions as well as physical feelings, because of course, when you're emotionally upset or anxious, then you're likely to feel more pain. So it's important to look after your emotions as well as any physical feelings as well. And just put in some time to practice that technique. I usually say if you could just do it once a day or several times a day, a perfect time to do it is when you're actually already doing half of it anyway. If you're focusing on uncomfortable feelings, you're thinking about them already. So just add in rubbing on the points. If there's something that you're upset about, something that's bothering you, you're probably thinking about it already. So carry on thinking about it and rub the acupressure points. And that should help you to actually feel more comfortable and to reduce that discomfort to a reasonable level. So that's hypnosis. Like I said, I'll have some more information on the website so you can carry on doing that yourself. Now, at its very simple level, hypnosis can help by relaxing you. Often people find that that technique we've just done, actually they use it just purely for relaxation because the rubbing is quite soothing, it's quite comforting. Because when muscles tense up, it makes pain worse. And so relaxing muscles helps to reduce your pain. And one hypnotist who worked a lot with pain regularly told his patients, if you relax a little, pain reduces a little. If you relax completely, pain goes completely. Now, relax. Now, I know that might sound really glib and you think, yeah, what did he know? But isn't it wonderful if it's true or even partially true for you? Because for some people, on some occasions, that statement alone might be all you need to reduce your pain enough to actually feel comfortable. So when you're in hypnosis, I don't know whether any of you have actually experienced hypnosis before. Some of you may have, some of you might not have done. But we're going to actually go through some hypnosis in a moment. And you can experience what it's actually like. But when you're in hypnosis, your mind treats suggestions as if they're reality. So if you're given suggestions for feeling relaxed and your mind understands how to relax, then you will relax. Now, some people respond to this type of suggestion faster than others. So if you think about watching a film or reading a book, do you tend to get caught up in the story? Do you forget to drink that cup of tea that you poured when you sat down and opened the book or started watching the film? Do you completely ignore what's going on around you? If so, then you'll probably find that you relax very quickly under hypnosis. But if you don't, don't worry. I work with people all the time who say, oh, I can't do that relaxing stuff. I find it really difficult. So it doesn't matter that you won't be able to relax at all. And actually, you don't need to be relaxed to go into hypnosis. But obviously here, we are actually talking about relaxation, so it is just part of it. So if you do find it difficult to relax, it just means you need a bit more practice, just to remind your body how to respond. Because if you've been tense for a long time, your body just needs to remember how to relax. Because all those muscles will be sort of tight and tense, and you just need to actually remember how to do it. So most people, though, do relax at least once a day, and that's when they drift off to sleep. And that 20 minutes of sleep, or sorry, the 20 minutes or so when you're going to sleep, that's actually called a hypnoidal state. And when you're in that, it's actually similar to what you were in when you're in hypnosis. You're partly aware, partly your mind's drifting, your body's starting to relax a little bit. And you're in a similar state in the morning if you wake up naturally as well. So having someone like me to take you into a relaxed state actually makes it easier because you don't have to think about it. You can simply follow my suggestions. So let me just start off by telling you a little bit about hypnosis so you know what to expect. I can't control you. I can't make you do anything. But like I said, I can help your mind to relax and think differently. And you're going to be aware of what I'm saying. But like I said, you might find your mind just drifts a little bit as well, and that's fine. If you've ever done any meditation or visualization, then you'll find this really familiar. So let me show you how hypnosis for relaxation works. I'm going to take you into a nice, comfortable, relaxed state, and then you can let me know afterwards how you felt. The thing to remember about relaxation is that you can't make yourself relax, because making yourself do something involves action and tension. And with relaxation, you allow your muscles to relax. You can't force them, you just let them. So don't try and force yourself to relax, just allow yourself to relax. So make yourself comfortable. Put both feet flat on the floor if you're sort of sitting upright, because if you've got your legs crossed, that can just become a little bit uncomfortable. And if we lose the connection at any time, then all you need to do is open your eyes and press the right buttons to come back into the center. So you're not going to be stuck in hypnosis forever. I've done online sessions with people where we've lost the connection and they've just reconnected and we've just continued. If for some reason we didn't manage to reconnect at all, you just simply come out of it at your own speed. So I'd like you to take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, close your eyes. Then open your eyes again as you breathe in, and close your eyes when you breathe out. And continue to do that, focusing on your breathing, feeling and hearing your breathing. And you can allow your breathing to become slower and deeper. You'll find that your eyes will become heavier and heavier, until your eyes just become so heavy that you cannot open them anymore. And when that happens, you can just let them stay closed, all the time focusing on my voice, nothing else matters. The sound of my voice takes you deeper and deeper, and every breath takes you deeper and deeper. And you can listen or not listen, it really doesn't matter. Because all the time your subconscious mind will be listening, will be understanding, and making any changes that are for your benefit. So just to continue to allow yourself to relax. If your eyes are still open, you could let them close. You'll find that your muscles can just become more and more relaxed. You're breathing comfortable and relaxed. And you might imagine that there's like a lovely shower of relaxation just flowing over you. You know, that type of shower when it's just refreshing and relaxing and soothing, and it just goes into all the parts of your body that feel comfortable. And this feeling just washes over you and it washes through you as well, into every muscle, every nerve, and every fibre of your body. Relaxing, soothing, and easy. Feeling absolutely great. And as you continue to drift, you can be aware of your body or unaware of your body. You can let your mind drift and wander, listening to everything I say, or just letting it drift. Nothing really being important. And I'd like you now to imagine that there's a door in front of you. Have a good look at the door. See the shape of it, see the size, and see the colour. Go and have a closer look. Run your hands over the surface. Feel the texture underneath. And hear the sound as your hand rubs over it. And you can open that door. It might have a handle, it might just open easily on its own. But as you open it, behind you can find a special place. One that's special to you, where you can be comfortable, calm, peaceful, and relaxed. It might be a bit misty or blurry to start off with, but the more you look, the more detail you see and the clearer things become. You just look all around you, seeing everything that makes this place so special. Just enjoying it. You might be able to hear sounds as well, sounds that make you smile when you hear them, just listening to each one. But most importantly, in this place, you just feel completely relaxed. Because in this place, nothing really matters. Not nothing really matters in a couldn't care less sort of way, but nothing really matters in a carefree sort of way. Because in this place, you don't have to try to be anyone or anything. You don't have to pretend to be anyone or anything. You can simply be yourself. And that feels great because it feels so comfortable, it feels so natural, it feels so easy. Because it is easy, it is comfortable, it is natural because it's you being you. In this place, you feel relaxed, you feel soothed. Your whole body feels comfortable and easy. You move easily, you feel comfortable, and it feels great. Everything just feels so comfortable. You feel calm, peaceful, and relaxed as you drift deeper and deeper, comfortable and easy, soothed and refreshed. And so in a moment, I'm going to count from 3 to 1, and you can bring all these feelings back with you, that calm, comfortable, soothed feeling. And coming back to awareness, coming back to the room. So 3, staying calm and comfortable, your body relaxed. 2, becoming more alert, more aware. And 1, eyes open, refreshed and alert. And welcome back. So, how do you feel now? Do you feel good? What's your physical comfort score now? Do we have any feedback at all? I have had some feedback on the other stuff, but I will come back to that later at the end. So if there's anyone that's got any information about how you feel after that comfortable, relaxed hypnosis, maybe just all too chilled out to actually write anything. I've got one message here saying that place was great. Want to spend more time there. Well, one of the downloads I've got is goes through that routine, and you will be able to use that yourself. So you can listen to it and just use it every day. You can listen to the recording that I've made, or you can also just do it yourself. Take some time out and just take yourself through the door and imagine yourself in that place. Again, there's a sheet with actually has instructions on for that as well. Now, if you didn't feel particularly relaxed, if you found it uncomfortable, then, like I said, sometimes these techniques don't work immediately. It can take a little bit of practice, so don't get disheartened if it takes a little time. And we're actually going to build on this self-hypnosis now, and we're going to add in something very simple that can help you to reduce your pain, and that is more saliva. Because saliva contains this protein, which they've actually tested on rats, and when they injected it into rats, it suppressed pain in a similar way to morphine. Now, you don't need to inject it into yourselves, but just having plenty of saliva in your mouth combined with hypnosis can help with pain suppression. And there's a Spanish surgeon who has actually used this principle an awful lot in the past. He's done hundreds of operations using the power of saliva and relaxation and positive statements as an alternative to anaesthetic. Now, if you're not that squeamish, then there are several videos of him operating on people who are fully awake, and they're talking in the operating theatre, they're talking to the staff and the camera crew whilst they're having operations on their legs. And there's links to those on the website I'll give later. So if somebody can actually use this technique as an alternative to anaesthetic in an operation, you'd imagine that can be quite powerful, and hopefully that will help you as well. So I'm going to take you through a version of this technique that you can use yourself. Some people, again, get very quick results from it, and in other cases, it can take a little while to notice the difference. So I'd like you to think of a statement that describes how you'd like to feel. And this is where the pen and paper might come in handy if you've got one. So think about how you'd like to feel. Think about what comfortable means to you. And just take a few moments to think about what that statement would be and write it down. Now, you might start off by thinking about how you describe the discomfort that you might feel right now, and then think about what the opposite of that would be. Or you could think about how you feel when you have any respite from pain. What does that feel like? Now, it's really important that you describe it in a positive way, because you need to tell your mind what to create. Because if you say, I don't want to be in pain, you aren't explaining what you're going to replace that painful feeling with. So instead, you might say, my muscles will feel relaxed and soothed, or I can move my arms easily and comfortable, or my body is a comfortable temperature. The feeling in my right leg is the same as the one in my left leg. My stomach feels quiet and calm. Just remember to phrase it positively, because you can't really give instructions as to what not to do. You need to know what to do. So think about how you can phrase that positively. I hope everybody's got a phrase they can use. Just make sure it's positive. If you're not too sure at the moment, then maybe you want to actually find a part of your body that does feel comfortable and use a phrase along the lines of, this part of my body feels the same as that comfortable part of my body. The thing is, you often actually don't notice how your body feels when it feels comfortable. You only tend to focus on things when they're not working properly or it feels uncomfortable. Now, does everybody have a phrase? Is anyone not too sure what phrase to use. Is everybody happy with that? Let me just check. I can't see any messages, so that's fine. So close your eyes again then, and go back to that door that takes you through into that special place. And as you go through that door, let that peacefulness just soak into you again. And enjoy some more time here, looking around, hearing the sounds, relaxing comfortably, and enjoying that feeling. And letting that comfort just soak into you. Feeling calm, comfortable and relaxed. Just enjoy being here, calm, comfortable and relaxed. And again, I'm going to count to 3. And on the count of 1, you can open your eyes. I'm going to count from 3 to 1. On the count of 1, you can open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Eyes open. So I hope you enjoyed going back to your special place. And in a moment, you're going to say your phrase out loud. But when you do that, make sure you're looking up. Because remember I said earlier, when you look up, it increases your feelings of positivity. So get some saliva in your mouth. Either build up some spittle or have a sip of water. Make sure you've got that saliva in your mouth. And now say your phrase out loud, making sure that you're looking up. So just say your phrase. And then take a comfortable breath. Now we're going to do that again. So get the saliva in your mouth. Make sure you've got lots of it there. And say your phrase out loud while you look up. And then take a comfortable breath. And the third time, saliva. Say your phrase while you look up. And take a breath. And that's it. It's that simple. Now for the best results, I suggest you do that 3 times a day. Morning, afternoon and evening. And again, if anyone's got any questions on that technique, please do type them away. Or if you're not too sure about it, if you've got any feedback, how do you feel after doing that? That comfort level or your body level number that you had for it earlier. What's it like now? How's it changed? So as I said, you do that 3 times a day, morning, afternoon and evening. Saliva in your mouth, say the phrase, take a breath 3 times each time you do it. And it only takes a couple of minutes. So then just think about how you feel. Don't go looking for trouble. Don't go searching for how your body feels. Just how does it feel right now? I hope we've actually got a difference there. I've got some great comments here, which I'll put up at the end. Nothing specific on that one though. So I'm hoping you're kind of all feeling quite chilled out by it. Like I said, you may not instantly notice a difference. So sometimes you just need to do it several times. As I said, several times a day. And then see how things happen over a couple of weeks. Now, the final technique I'm going to cover is called emotrance. And I've actually created a hypnosis version of this, and you'll have a link to that at the end of the webinar. But you can also just do it on your own. It does take a little bit of discipline because you do need to stick with it, but the results can actually be so worthwhile. So I'd like you to think of any discomfort that you've got right now. Part of me sort of wants you to still have some, and part of me would just love it to have disappeared already. But if there's any discomfort still there, whether it's emotional or physical, then just focus in that. Maybe you're anxious and worried about something, not looking forward to something, or there is still physical discomfort in your body. And when you think about that physical or emotional discomfort, where do you feel it in your body? Whereabouts is it? Or where is it strongest? And if you had to give that a colour, if you had to give it a shape, if you had to make it into something, how would you actually describe it? So what colour is it? Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it angular? Is it bubbly? Is it blobby? Is it sharp? How would you actually describe that feeling as an object? And then I'd like you to focus on that. Close your eyes as you think about it. And then just imagine that shape softening and flowing away. Imagine the colour just gradually fading out of it. Imagine that colour becoming paler, more translucent. And imagine the shape starting to melt and shrink. You know, like how ice melts in the sun. Just let it gradually soften and dissolve away, melting, shrinking, fading. Don't force it, don't push it away, just allow it to gradually soften and dissolve away. Now, if you're doing this on your own, you stay with this until you feel a shift. But because there's obviously various people on this webinar, and you may all be at different levels, different places in this, I'm going to shorten the process. So think about where that shape is now. Now, if this has worked really well for you, it might have completely disappeared. If it has, don't question it, just enjoy it. But if there is still some feeling there, then has it changed in any way? Sometimes it might get bigger, which can be upsetting and frustrating, but if that happens, then stay with it. It will shrink back down again. When I use this technique, I always find that things get bigger before they get smaller. But if you stay with it, they do actually end up shrinking down. It just takes a little while. Now, the feeling might have changed location in your body, or it might have changed in appearance or how it actually feels. So focus on how it feels right now. And then close your eyes and do the same thing again. Think about where you feel it, the colour of it, the shape of it, what it's actually like. And then just let it soften and flow away. Let the colour fade, let it melt away. Just let it shrink, dissolve, soften and flow away. And just let that go. And then again, just open your eyes and think, how do I feel right now? Where's that feeling? And has anyone got any feedback on that at all? Did that technique work for you? Is it still stuck in there? Let me just have a quick look and see if we've got any feedback. There's too many windows for me to look on here. Okay, I've got a message here that says it shifted. Often it does shift from one part of the body to another. So sometimes it can take a little while, it still feels the same, but it just moves around. But as it moves, it will actually start to shrink as well and completely disappear. So with that technique, like I said, it takes a little bit of discipline, but it can really, really help. And that's it. That's all the techniques that I'm going to cover today. Time has kind of shot past. I'm going to come back just to a few messages that I've had during the time, just to let me see, just to actually clarify a few things. So I've got a message here saying, will doing hypnosis for emotions just mask the emotional pain, or will it help to get through the pain? It lets it disappear, if you like, because when you're not focused on pain, it actually does reduce it. You know, if you're not focusing on it so much, it's less important, and it can actually just make it disappear as well. So different people will respond in different ways. It always sounds really vague, but it is true. Some people I've used that with, they just say, well, where did that go? And other people say, no, it's gone back down to a more a level that I can cope with, if you like. And there's another one here. Somebody who's in their special place says they were bounding across the fields when they're in their special place, which is something that you haven't done for years. That sounds really great. It's just lovely because in your mind you can just do all those things, and it reminds your body how you actually feel as well. Someone else as well says on the special place, they said, I'd love to do this every day. Well, on the download, on the web site, you can actually download an audio version of that and listen to it. Like I said, you can also do it yourself as well. Now, what else have we got? Okay, so there's a couple on the actual the version that uses saliva as well. The actual proper name for it is called noesotherapy, which is kind of long term. I tend to call it positive self-hypnosis. So there's one here which says, do you hold the saliva in your mouth as you say the words? Yes, you do. So hopefully you won't spit everywhere. But having the saliva in your mouth, that is the part that actually helps to have those pain-reducing proteins in there as well. So yes, do hold the saliva in your mouth while you say it. And then you can, when you do the breath, you can just swallow as you do it. And there's another one here that says, scroll down, says, how do I know really what to say? Okay, so with that, it's really thinking about how you really want to feel. And like I said, sometimes it can be quite difficult when you're always thinking about like a feeling that's strong and you don't want, like a negative feeling, an uncomfortable feeling. Sometimes it can actually seem difficult to imagine what it would be like not to be there. So that's why I said sometimes it can help to actually imagine a different part of your body that does feel comfortable. Or maybe there's a time when it feels slightly more comfortable. Maybe if you're, I don't know, in a bath, maybe that feels more comfortable. But always just think, how do I want to feel? How would I like to feel? What would be comfortable for me? So just do avoid those negatives, because otherwise you're just reinforcing the negative side of things. Let me just check over here and see if I've got any more over here. No, that's it. So thank you for joining me. I hope this has been helpful. If you do have any questions, then please do feel free to contact me. I will put, what am I going to do? I am going to give you the web address. I will put it on the Google Hangouts page. Hopefully that will appear there. So I'll put that on there. If you can't see it for any reason, then please do email me. It's sharon@sharonstyles.co.uk. sharon@sharonstyles.co.uk. If you can't remember that, just search for Sharon Styles online and you should be able to find me. You can contact me through Google Plus, or you can contact me through Facebook as well. I would love some feedback because, like I said, I am going to be running some more of these webinars. And it'd be really helpful to know what you found most helpful. If there was anything that you just thought, oh, that's a complete waste of time. Do you like the idea of actually having the interactivity, or do you find it breaks it up too much? Are you just more interested in the information and then maybe finding out more about it later? So that would all be sort of quite helpful to know, really. Is there anything else I've missed out? There are a couple of other techniques as well, which I haven't covered today, because I thought I'd keep it to about an hour. If you think that a 90-minute webinar would be helpful, and you think you could stay awake for that long, and stay comfortable for that long, then that would give you more information, but it might just be a bit too much mental overload. So I was thinking maybe I'd do 2 one-hour webinars instead. And there are also some downloads on the website as well, which I normally sell as individual hypnosis tracks. But those I'm just going to give you for free as well. So thank you for your time and for some feedback as well. So that would be great. So thank you for the time. I do hope these techniques really do help you. Do let me know, because like I said, I'm always trying to offer the best possible help I can for people. And so the more information I can get, the better I can actually tailor this to people as well, so it gives them the best help they're looking for. So thank you very much again, and I look forward to hearing from you.